Hello everyone, my name is Jorge Diaz, President and Founder of Larry Jacob Internet Marketing and a Infusionsoft Certified Consultant. This week I'm bringing you another episode of Defining Infusionsoft Success, and I have the pleasure of hosting a guest, Troy Broussard. Did I pronounce that right?
Yeah, you did great.
Good, good. And we're going to be talking about his library of features. These guys do a library of functions, and we'll talk about that. But interestingly enough, I was in the Infusionsoft support forums, and I asked someone, "Hey, I need to do this," and frankly, I can't even remember what it was. And I'm in this space, and so there's a bunch of other competitors that shall remain nameless. And someone says, "Oh, you ought to try MyFusion Helper because they have exactly that one feature that you need." And that was my introduction to them, because honestly, I didn't know that they were on the market. And we're talking earlier, and Troy and I, we've met probably at PartnerCon or something. But there's all these tools out there, and unless you're in the market for one of them specifically, it's kind of difficult to just have a big catalog of them all. So I want to talk to Troy about that. So Troy, welcome.
Yeah, well, thank you. Good to be here, and glad to be a part. So yeah, you bet.
Cool. So why don't we start? Tell us a little bit about your business. How did you didn't probably wake up one day and says, "Hey, I'm going to package 29 different tools into one package and release them so that Infusionsoft people can have it." So tell us a little bit about the history.
Yeah, so I've been with Infusionsoft since way back in the day, in the red, white, and black days. 2008, 2009. Have had 4 or 5 different apps on Infusionsoft. Still currently run 3 different businesses all on Infusionsoft. So it's something that is very core to everything we do, near and dear my heart. Became a certified partner as well a while back, and have used it in our business and some of our high-end consulting for a long time. Have done real high-end funnels, 20K, 30K type funnels for people, and my partner's in that business as a copywriter, so we had a really 1-2 punch of being able to do copy and fulfillment and all of that. Over the time, we just kept. I'm a programmer by trade. I don't write code anymore. I call myself a recovering programmer. So once a programmer, always a programmer.
I'm a coder like you, and I'm saying coding is a young man's sport. I'm a little too old for
It
this.
is. It really is. And I have wanted to do a SaaS company, a software as a service based company, for years and years. And it's something that is very near and dear to me, from doing application development and international large-scale development with Encyclopedia Britannica back in the day, and several exposures of that. So I've wanted to do it for a long time, but I never found the right kind of partner, and I found the right person and at the right time, and it all came together a few months back. And so we teamed up to release MyFusion Helper. I'd been using. As anybody knows in this space, there's a lot of these, libraries out there, and what we really wanted to, migrate from using all of these different things, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and put one large code base library that was comprehensive and affordable, right? Those were 2 of our main objectives, and the third objective was that it was continually being developed. So we were using some of these libraries, and they had been it was easy to tell that they were kind of one-offs or weren't actively really being developed, that maybe a feature might come out once or twice a year kind of thing. And in our business and for our clients, we just needed to have much more responsively growing, tool set available. And so, we just partnered up to create it instead. And that was really, probably the biggest differentiation for us was our price point, which, we see so many apps in the store that charge really a premium because it's Infusionsoft, and we wanted to offer an alternative to that, something that people could get started with very affordably, and also something that had a much larger tool set rather than just implementing one single feature.
So it's and I'm going right off your website. I think it's $29 a month. That's the list there.
Correct. Correct. It's $29.95 flat right now.
So how long has this been available?
So we started an early kind of internal release about a year ago, but that was primarily for clients and things that I already had, and just migrating people over it and kind of in a beta capacity, so to speak. But it's been for sale for about a year in the marketplace, but honestly, only in the last 6 months have we really been in earnest out there, promoting the company. And we were a little late on getting to InfusionCon this year, but we've already booked a booth for next year, and we'll be there.
So that explains, because I'm out there, and as a matter of fact, because of this program, because we're consultants, I'm out there always trolling for this kind of stuff. So that explains why I had never heard of it. So you guys are the new guys on the block, which
it's doing awesome. We're growing month over month at over 50% a month right now. I mean, it's really trending hot. People are really excited about it. We have a very fast growing user base, and really pride ourselves on support and enhancements in the app. Like we just rolled out a couple new helpers. We've got over 40 plus features in the app already, and we're adding 2 or 3 a month to continue to grow that, to support really what our users want. And it's the growth of the app and the features that we offer is really a direct reflection of what users are requesting.
Right. So if I'm just going right off of your page. So if I go in here, you guys have Facebook custom audiences. I think there's a bunch of folks that are in that space. GoToWebinar integration, and we're recording this right now on GoToMeeting. I'm a big fan of that, and basically my favorite feature is that I can put 2 talking heads on my desk, and I couldn't do that with some of the other tools I played with. So I see you have smart video triggers, so I can tell how long someone is, kind of like that Wistia feature, right?
It's really about tagging people at any checkpoint in the video you want. So let's say you have an 8-minute VSL, video sales letter, and 6 minutes in is when you actually do the call to action. You want to be able to tag people to know if they've actually seen your offer or not. So that's really what it's about. Being able to dynamically tag people at any point throughout the video itself.
All right. So let me ask you, so what's like... where are most of your users? Like, what is it that it's like, oh, you have that feature, I need that one?
Yeah, it's really interesting because it's really diverse. First of all, we have over 40 plus features, so
right.
There's a lot. Probably one of our trendiest, most desirable features is the GoToWebinar for one, but then also the Google Sheets integration that we released not too long ago. That one is extremely powerful. We kind of have a different philosophy, and you'll find this in a lot of our tools. But rather than trying to create a solution, a lot of times what we're doing is creating the glue between 2 apps, or creating the integration. And that's what we really did with Google Sheets. So, a lot of people are frustrated with reporting in Infusionsoft, right? There's no graphics, there's no nothing. It's very, limiting. So rather than trying to develop a reporting solution, what we did is we said, what if we can just take the data out of Infusionsoft and shove it real time into Google Sheets, and then people can report on it however they want, right? They can create pivot tables, they can create charts and graphs and summaries, and combine multiple sheets of data into one, or multiple data sources from Infusionsoft into one, or whatever they need. And that's what we did, and that has turned into a huge success. It's probably the second most popular feature we have right now. The number one is the GoToWebinar, which there's a lot of them out there. Let's be honest, there's a lot of GoToWebinar integrations.
I haven't heard. Are there others that are doing something like this? Because I haven't heard of that.
Of the Google Sheets, no. We're the only one in the industry doing the Google Sheets integration, and it's very slick. We allow you to do it real time. We allow it to update the data whenever you pull up the sheet, or you can even set it on a publication cycle so that you can refresh the data every Monday at 4 a.m. and then automatically send out a looping email that every week sends out that same email over and over again with a link to the refreshed data, so somebody can get that weekly check-in report or whatever they need.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice, because I tell you, I'm in the process of building something like this, and we're still organizing the data in Infusionsoft, but that sounds like a great way to implement a dashboard.
It really is, and it just provides a lot of flexibility. Like, we've got a client that is using it to generate their daily close, for their summary summary for QuickBooks. So they summarize the data out of Infusionsoft and put it into QuickBooks. And, rather than having to go through all of the detail of the report, we just export the detail and then created a summary view that consolidates and groups it and totals it the way they need to see. And now they just have a real simple report that they can just go off of to import it in. So, it really alleviates a lot of stuff. And many times the people that want to see the reports don't even need to have access to Infusionsoft, right? Which is another benefit.
No, that's a big, first of all, you got to teach them how to use it. And most of these, I know the folks at the higher ends are like, dude, I don't care how it works, just tell me what my numbers are.
And you almost don't want them to see Infusionsoft from the inside, I'm sorry to say, but that interface is a little rough. So, for sure, that's one of the big benefits, absolutely. And from a licensing and cost standpoint too, right, if you don't need to buy those extra users.
Sure. So I went down to the bottom, and it's interesting, I haven't seen you guys have the campaign helpers, which I thought was unique because I haven't really played with that, but I can see how that would come in handy. Why don't you kind of, give us a little overview of what these campaign helpers do?
Well, they're all directly integrated with the campaign. What specifically do you mean? They're all integrated with Campaign Builder.
Right, so you've got a goal it or an action it.
Yeah, those are all okay in that section. Yeah, absolutely. So, those are just different, different abilities to fire off. Some of them are things that legacy features perhaps that didn't used to be available in Infusionsoft, so they started to add more features. So some of them aren't as necessary, but the goal-it, for example, is by far one of the most popular features we have. The goal-it allows you to define an API goal on your own. And so rather than having to use tags for functional start and stop tags all the time, which kind of creates a mess, right? Because first of all, you populate the app with a bunch of functional tags that really are not doing anything other than starting a campaign. Right. And then you got to delete them and you got to clean them up, which people forget to do. And then a lot of times you have the issue, which some people like it by design, but it also, I've seen it bite people, is that, if you forget to remove the tag, then you can't reapply it and restart people, right? So for those types of purposes, we'll use API goals instead, and that allows you to completely avoid using a tag for functional purposes. You can just do an API.
So I use one of these features to set it and another one to wait on it? Well, I guess I wait on it using an API goal, right?
Yeah, correct. So the API goal you configure by typing in the app name, and you configure in the integration settings, right? And then to invoke it, you use an HTTP post, right? Now, the HTTP post to invoke it can be called in all kinds of places, which people don't really think of. They think of, I can only use that inside a campaign builder, but that's really not true. Anywhere that you can pull down that little actions drop-down list, one of the actions is to run an external HTTP post. So, for example, we can configure that on the opt-out global actions for an opt-out to automatically invoke a post that triggers off one of our API goals, as an example.
Yeah, it's an interesting way of thinking about it. Because, by the way, on our team, we've developed a tag category and standards for doing API tag goals. And you're right. I was just testing this morning. It's like, oh, look, we forgot to take it off here, and as a result, it means the next time through it won't run. So that's an interesting feature, or an interesting way of going about that.
Yeah, and certainly provide some different capabilities, and on the reporting side as well, because I find that very few people are aware of this. They think that when it comes to campaign reporting that you're limited to that 30-day window in the performance view, but that's not true, right? You can go into the marketing reports and run goal completion reports for any time period as long as there are a defined goal in that campaign. And so a lot of times what we do is, instead of using tags that are really kind of misappropriated, they're used because people think they have to use them in order to report, when they could do it with a link click goal or an API goal or other things without requiring a tag, and just use the marketing reports to pull that out. And so we do a lot of them that way as well. And then all of our helpers, not all of them, but most all of them, allow you to use either API goals or tags. So in the GoToWebinar helper, for example, if you don't want to apply a tag to who attended, you can just choose to fire off an API goal and name your API goal in there as well, just like you would a tag selection. So we kind of use it throughout the helpers as just another option for people to choose which method they want to use.
Nice, nice. And I mean, not that I've ever run into campaigns that have way craziness with tag names. So I mean, there's one way to fix that problem. Very nice.
Or maybe the corollary is true, right? Campaigns that don't have problems with tag names.
Yeah. I hear you. And then and then tag formatting. We do a lot of work with Memberium, and it was interesting. I was talking to David Bullock, their lead guy over there. And he was going, oh, by the way, I've built that into Memberium, so that you can add and subtract dates and things. And I go, get out of here. And it's like, we're involved there. And here he is sneaking in little functions like that in there. But if you don't have Memberium, there are a couple times where we're like, oh, this is a regular site and we don't have it. It's like, oh, and then so you have to resort to some sort of tool or, make it up as you go, which is just too expensive, too much work.
And what we try to do, and I mean, it's not necessarily true in every single helper, but you'll definitely see a trend as you look through and start using our stuff, is that we really bolt in a lot of kind of custom options and open-ended features. So like we have a helper for formatting, data and specifically dates and times and things like that. Well, one of the things that we have a whole bunch of pre-formatted selections, obviously, but then we go above and beyond that, and we allow you to plug in your own PHP format string and just enforce that. Oh, okay. So it gives you virtually unlimited flexibility in how you need to see that data and be able to display accordingly. And that's kind of the way that we take our approach, right? Like rather than do reporting, we'll integrate with Google Sheets. Rather than just trying to tell you what formats to use, we'll give you a way to use anything you want. It's just a different kind of philosophical approach, I think, but both the developer and myself, we're both developers. And
clearly.
So we think that way, right? We think in terms of flexibility.
Yeah, no. Well done, because I know that sometimes you run into things and it's like a programmer wouldn't have built this like this. And that's going back to my computer science background, so I hear you.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool. Well, I mean, I think there's a good survey for our, our audience to kind of get an idea. If they want to reach out to you, what's the best way to, check this out?
Yeah, absolutely. If you want to reach out to me on the help desk, you can just email help@myfusionsolutions.com, and you'll probably get a response from me personally. At this phase of our company, I'm trying to do probably 70-80% of the help desk myself. I really feel that a company grows from its support, not its feature list. And if you're at all looking to evaluate us or check us out, we have a free trial for everybody for 30 days, and so. Yeah, I mean, it's really a low-risk, chance to take a look, and, happy to extend an offer to give any of your listeners here a free demo as well. So if anybody reaches out to me on the help desk, help@myfusionsolutions.com, and if you want a demo, just ask for a demo for Troy, and I'll be happy to do that.
Cool. I'll make sure that when we publish this, we'll add that in the notes. So people can have that.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Cool. Well, hey, Troy, thank you for breaking out of your busy schedule to talk to me. I greatly appreciate it. I'm sure our audience does as well. So I hope you have a great day.
All right. Thank you much, and thanks for inviting me. It was a good time. Take care.
Okay, take care.